Okay, guys, welcome to the Chosen One podcast show. If you landed on this podcast episode, you are probably a manifesting generator and a female entrepreneur, coach, or expert. So, welcome, take a cup of tea, and binge listen to all the amazing episodes I have set up for you. Episodes to help you create the right energy and mindset to create the manifesting generator business and life of your dreams. Here we go. Okay, guys, I'm so excited to record this episode. I feel like I start every episode off with like, oh my God, I'm so excited to record this episode. But I am really excited every time I record a podcast episode. So this morning, I was reading In the Way of Mastery. This is actually a channeled book by Joshua, Jesus. And I absolutely love this book. I go back to it over and over and over again. And this is the kind of book that really, really helps me to detach from situations, from conditioned way of thinking. And there's this beautiful chapter in this book, and I want to read a part from the book for you. Okay, so here we go. For once, indeed, there was a farmer who went out to plant the seed in his ground. But before he went to plant the seed, he selected the seed very carefully. And while other farmers rushed out because they thought, oh, look, it's time for the plant to begin. Everything is perfect. The conditions are just right. We must make haste and plant. And they bought whatever seeds they could get and went out and spread them across the ground and began their busy work of doing what they had to do. Rest assured, they will have their harvest. But the wise farmer waited, and while he was laughed at by his colleagues, he carefully selected every seed. He waited until he could hold it in his hand and say, "Ooh, I like the vibration of this seed. This feels very good. Oh yes, I can just see this beautiful plant that is going to arise from this. The fruit of it will be the sweetest in the valley." And he gathered his seeds. He paid no attention to the passing of the dates on the calendar. He paid no attention to the changing weather conditions. He knew that when the time was right, the seed would be planted, and from it would burst forth the flower of those seeds. He knew it. He gave no thought to the opinions of his colleagues. He enjoyed the process of loving the seeds that he was making his own. And then the farmer went out and he cast the seed upon the soil of his farm, which is likened unto the soil of your own awareness. And he planted his seeds, and he tamped them down, and he nurtured them, and he watered them, and he cultivated them with a smile upon his face. And yes, the neighbor seemed to be already sprouting up through the ground. He couldn't have cared less, for he knew that these seeds would bring him eternal harvest, that they would not just burst forth he would not just burst forth once from the soul and then throw out some mediocre fruit and then die. For he had selected seeds that would constantly bring forth in each season the best of fruits. And he loved them, and he nurtured them, and he cultivated them. And long after the other farmers had grown weary and tired and had experienced drought, and the seeds had brought forth fruit where insects would come and destroy them, that would not be purchased and bought by the people in the marketplace, this one farmer became the greatest of farmers in the entire valley. And then it goes on for a little bit, and then I underlined this sentence. He never once forgot that he was the one that created his farm as a direct result of his careful selection of which seed he would plant in his soil. And while others marveled at his good fortune, and while others were jealous of his good luck, the farmer always knew that no magic was involved. And So let us first take a breath. Wow. So what I love about this specific fragment is that it amplifies that we are the creator of our own reality, and it is our own thoughts, our own judgment about the things that go on in our lives and businesses that puts the value on it. One other thing that they really keep repeating in this book, what Joshua keeps saying, is every situation is neutral. And we are very conditioned in our business, in our lives, in our relationships, that things has to be a certain way. And I remember listening to Michael Beckwith a couple of years ago to one of his interviews, and he was talking about his beautiful relationship with his former wives. He had 2 relationships. He went through 2 divorces. And the conditioned tendency is to think like, oh my God, these relationships have failed. I have failed as a spouse. This is a failure because the relationship no longer worked. But in this interview, he explained that he never looks at any relationship as if it could fail. You are just meant to be together for a certain period of time. And when you don't serve each other anymore, if you don't bring out the best in each other, it is time to part. And he gave this explanation of a tribe in Africa, where they come together every, 10, 20 years. And then they go to the tribe, to the elderly man of the tribe. And then they investigate, are you still serving each other in this marriage? And if they are still serving, if there are still lessons to learn, they have to stay together. But if they are like, if the chapter is complete, they are allowed to separate, and then they go on and move on to another partner, which I find so beautiful to look at relationships in that way. And it's actually the way I really try to live my relationships as well. When I look at my relationship with my very close friend, my soul sister, which I explained to you about, Jennifer, we were super close. Like I told you guys in a previous episode how we met. We are born on the same date. We are both manifesting generators 1-3. And we were very close until like we both became pregnant and got our baby. And in that period, it happened after she gave birth to her child and I was just about to get pregnant. It was at that period in our life that we really discovered, like, okay, in this period of our life, we are not bringing out the best in each other. It wasn't a toxic relationship at all. It was still beautiful, but we were actually both going through some difficult things. And we just weren't able to support each other in the right way that we were used to supporting each other. And I then told her, like, let's just agree to not be in contact with each other unless one of us really feels like, oh my God, I need to speak to you. And this was so interesting because we followed up on that. And I think we haven't had real contact for almost 1.5 years. And it was so beautiful. I mean, we had occasional contact, like the politeness contact, like on birthdays and everything. But other than that, there wasn't any contact. But I just knew in my heart that at a certain point in our life, we would reunite again. And through recent events in my life and in her life, we are now back in contact together. And we are like instantly, we were at the same soul frequency again, because we allowed each other the space and the time to go through the things that we had to go through without any judgment. We just said we love each other. Our relationship is unconditional. And even if we're not vibing at this moment, the foundation will never change. And looking at your relationships in that way gives it so much space and air to actually evolve in the way that it's meant to evolve, without judgment, without all the ego bullshit, without the like, you did this, I did this, none of that. Like, it's just like from a unconditional place. And This is something that I just love witnessing, that I'm attracting in more and more of these women into my energy field. I have this same relationship with my current team member and friend, Najura. We have this unconditional place as well, that you just know whatever happens, the foundation is there. And it's the same with my clients. If I look at the clients I had in my mastermind last year, Najura was part of that mastermind, and then another client of mine, Farin and Katrine, and the three of them are still very close. And once in a while, they will send me like a voice memo with updates about their lives. And it's from such an unconditional place. It is such a soul level connection that I have with these women, and that I actually have with all the women I work with. And this is why I believe so much in the story that I just read to you. I select my seeds very carefully. So I am not the kind of entrepreneur that just is like, okay, I'm just gonna market my products and everybody is welcome. And like, everybody is welcome, of course, but it's not like I want to have as many people in my portals as possible to satisfy my ego and to make the most money possible. The way I run my business is as the wise farmer. I want to select my seeds carefully, and I know as long as I do my part, and my part is doing the things that I receive from the universe, that I receive from God, the things that I need to do, like recording my podcast, running my ads. I told you guys before, running my ads for me is not a marketing tool. It's a way to serve. I will record maybe a separate episode about that one time, how I see running Facebook ads as a divine act. That's a separate subject, but I follow the instructions that I get from God, from the universe, and I know that I get the exact right women into the portals that I offer. There is no ego attachment there. I, on a soul level, do not care if there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 10, 30, 40, 50, or 100 people in the portal. I just trust that the universe brings me the exact women that are meant to work with me and that are actually at a soul connection with me and who are ready to go through this transformation on a soul level. And of course, I am challenged to do things out of my comfort zone. I am challenged to take things next level. I'm challenged all the time, but I do it from a very wise farming space. And this is the message of today. So I hope you enjoy. I love you guys. Have an amazing, amazing day. And we'll talk on the next episode.